in BH and financiers, all the way into Algeria, AQIM, all the way into Mali, into Mauritania, into Yemen, and of course all the way back into Afghanistan. So you see, what I'm trying to, the picture I'm painting is that this is an international problem. It's a bigger problem. I think we have a very dim view. We don't even understand what is at issue here on this Boko Haram thing. So when I hear people talk sometimes, I just laugh, and I laugh at the kind of ignorance that is on parade here. So we really need to go back and understand. First, do a study, because how many studies have been commissioned by the federal government on this? None, as far as I'm concerned. Federal government is reacting, unlike what my brother has said here, being proactive. It's not only gathering intelligence about the intentions of the bad guys to strike and preempting them. What about studying what the problem is? Getting a robust mental exercise that will bring out what this is about. We know what this Boko Haram problem is. Let me just tell you, at least from security circles, we know what the problem is. But even when these lectures are given, the government people are not there to listen. So they don't understand. They are hearing civil service speak only. You're just getting ignorance being paraded in a room, and that's it. And that's why the solutions are not forthcoming.
Well, I asked a question on Twitter recently, and I was saying to people that what are the options open to the president on the issue? But before I raise that question, I understand there's a caller on the line. Good morning.
Hello. Sunday from here.
Sunday, good morning. How are you? Please go ahead and ask the question.
Thank your conversation, and my contribution to that comment of the other man is that the people that sponsor Boko they want. I support the people in the state that there is no amnesty for those that want to kill important citizens of the country. And it is not to them only not they cannot force me to serve what I am supposed to serve. So that's it.
Okay, I didn't quite get that. The line, I couldn't make out that. But,
Sunday, can you please try and call us back? Because we really didn't hear you in the studio. Can you please try and call us back? We couldn't make out what you were saying.
All right, back to the point that I raised. I said the options that seem like they're quite open to the president. One is for the president to send in brutal force into the strongholds of Boko Haram in the north.
Do they know the strongholds?
Well, the strongholds are definitely the places where they're bombing. The president went into Borno State and he left a few hours later. 7 bombs exploded. It means that they've got it there and the security agencies did not detect it. You've got to admit the bombs there. They didn't fly them in. Now, the second option was to arrest all the sponsors because it will just completely bottleneck and destroy how these people raise funds. Just recently, a very good friend of mine, Simon Kolale of This Day newspaper, he was talking about terrorism and poverty and saying that terrorists are not poor. They have a lot of money at their disposal. But I said poverty fuels it. So if we cut off the sponsors, arrest all of them, round them up, arrest them, put them in prison, that fund will be short-circuited. And then the fourth option was to negotiate with what the president has called ghosts. Can we negotiate with them? And then the fourth option is amnesty, but amnesty for what? Mr. Nkomo, what would you pick as the option that you think will work for Nigeria?
I'm sorry that I might sound a little predictable, but very clearly the issue here, I had said, the killing must stop. So how do you stop the killing? You stop the killing by combating the menace. By combating the menace, he has mentioned intelligence, and in January last year, January 19th, when they did the shocking attack in Kano and killed several hundred, I issued a release asking for a total war on this BH matter. Why did I say that? Because under war conditions, the government will have certain powers, and the conditions will change to deal with deal with the insurgents as enemy combatants. But if you are dealing with it right now, we are using a law enforcement approach, and that's why we are carrying dead bodies. We wait when the bomb goes off, the people are dead, we go and carry them, and then we arrest people in the area. That's also creating disaffection. Having a negative effect, because one of the things that the elders in Borno State were saying yesterday was that you are arresting innocent citizens, harassing innocent citizens, creating security cordon. When you throw a security cordon, nobody goes in, nobody comes out. You understand? Whereas the perpetrators of this act, with modern technology, they could be hundreds of miles away when they are setting up a device. So you are only arresting those who did not get killed by the bomb, as it were. So it's very difficult to say that. And you also mentioned something like where were these bombs when the president was there? Because that shows you that the ordinance is already in place. The ordinance is in place, and all they need to do is determine what what zone they are going to attack this time, and with what weapons. So I think in terms of the 4 options you've provided: brute force, arrest sponsors, that's kind of the financing, negotiate with ghosts, or just throw amnesty. I think I pick A.
So they should send in the brute force.
Oh yes, that's the only thing. First, when I say brute force, of course you mean coupled with intelligence and other things, hearts and minds, because you have to. What is happening right now, the law enforcement approach is making people upset. But guess what? The greatest intelligence in combating BH right now is coming from the community. The Monguno barracks attack this week. What happened? The military worsted the BH guys, 20 dead. But what really happened? The real news there was that they got a tip from the community that BH guys are coming to attack. So they set up further off. So there was no threat against the barracks, even when the guys came with their 3 coastal buses and motorcycles and everything to launch the attack.
Okay. We've since been joined by another security expert, Major
Colonel.
I beg your pardon. Colonel Najim Shobo. Good morning.
Retired.
Yes, retired. Now, Colonel, we've been talking about security in Nigeria, as you heard from what Komo was saying. I want to ask you, what impact or what effect would the situation in Mali have on happenings in Nigeria?
Well, first and foremost, if you look at the situation that's going on in Mali, it's a way of operating on a sister country, and that is how it looks like globally, so that during the time when Nigeria will need them, we will equally get the assistance. The issue in Mali is that if you look at the international arena, and we are talking of best practice, our major focus is to get rid of the terrorists, to get rid of the Islamic fundamentalists that are there, so that the battle is not carried to our domain, or rather we reduce or mitigate the impact of the terrorist activity, because most of the terrorists we have in Nigeria, I'm not talking of Boko Haram alone now, because even the Bokas we are talking, they have been split into 3 parts right now. So if we are talking of Boko Haram, we should be talking of Asaru, that is another breakaway faction. So the essence of being in Mali, we go a long way to mitigate the concentration of militants, or to get new hands from Mali that will commit havoc in our country. So
how much has their strength in Mali, how much has it been dented by the French coming in and other international forces coming into Mali?
Dented in terms of what?
The strength of the fundamentalists in Mali.
Yes.
And the international forces coming together.
It was an overwhelming strength that has been brought down to weigh down the strength of the enemy forces. And if you look at it, they have been thrown into disarray. And conventionally, if you look at the situation in Mali, it started as a terrorist group. And if you look at the characteristics of terrorists, one, they are not expected to accept combat. They operate in small groups.
I beg your pardon, Colonel.
Yes.
Can you just hold that thought? We have a caller on the line.
Okay.
Hello, good morning. Kennedy.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning. Yeah. I'm calling from Kurudu.
Yes, please go
I
ahead.
just want to say a few things about what's the discussion going on. One thing, a country that cannot take care of its food security, that cannot take care of its power supply, that cannot take care of the minor, needs of a citizen. Now, then, how can such a nation take care of the daunting security issues facing it. You know,